A blessed Shabbat to you, to us, Yasha Allah, and all around the globe, in the diaspora. I greet you in the name of Abba Yahweh and his Mashiach. In the blessed Ruach. So thankful, so truly invigorated by the unprecedented privilege to say a word on the behalf of our Malak, our King of Kings, and our newly installed High Priest, according to the order of Melchizedek, Hamashiach the Blessed. And so, Yashala, we greet you again, and I'm thankful for the blessed privilege to come before you as the chosen ones of the Most High, to say a word on the behalf of our Mashiach, our newly installed priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. So, for a while, some few months, Abba Ruach has had us as a nation of 12 tribes under the leadership of the house of Yahweh, or Judah, as they say, and proclaiming to us that he is dealing with the house of Judah first, according to Zechariah, Zechariah chapter, what's it? Not on the court now, but in Zechariah, we have it said that the Most High shall choose the tents of Judah, Yehudah, first. And so we recognize, according to Hebrews, that it says that our Master, our Mashiach, sprang out of Yehudah, out of Judah. And when we make the inference, according to the book of Hebrews, this one who comes after the order of Melchizedek to be priest, king, priest, over the house of Yehudah, we see that, well, for instance, I want to backtrack a little bit to the matter of where we are now in relation to the prophecy of the Mashiach coming in as priest king, or king and priest, however you want to say it now. And this coming is according to the order of Melchizedek, by way of the fact that Mashiach, as Hebrews tell us, was not among those who were designated as priests, because the Levites were inducted by Aaron. All right. You find in Hebrew, again, Hebrews 5 and verse 4, that it says, no one obtains this esteem or this prestige, this position of ultimate, maybe I can use the word authority or privilege, to come into the priesthood. No one obtains this priority for himself. No one gives himself this title of priest forever, but the one who is called by Elohim. Elohim is the one who put Aaron and his sons into the priesthood. You will recall, as Abba Yah called Yasha Allah and began to set them in order according to the rules of the covenant under the old covenant. You know, he set up laws and statutes and laws of sacrifices and offerings and so forth. So we are reminded in Hebrews that no individual of himself sets himself up as a priest according to the reckoning of the manner whereby and wherein the priesthood is established. So it is Abba Yah who established the priesthood and put Aaron and his sons as priests, as a pattern prefiguring, like a forerunner, to give an example to Yasha Allah as to what would be the manner of the real priest. The household of Aaron were only as a shadow. And the Levites, of course, yes, they operated under that shadow of priesthood, prefiguring, coming before to show an example to the house of Yasha Allah, what a priest would look like, a representation. And then so we are told in verse 5 of Hebrews, so also the Messiah did not lift himself up to become high priest. He did not do this of himself, but it was offered to him. It was placed upon him by Elohim, Yahweh, who said unto him, this is Hebrew 5 and 5, Abba Yahweh said unto him, you are my son. Today I have begotten you, or brought you forth. As he says in another place, you are a priest forever according to the order of Melchizedek, as was prefigured that the Mashiach would come into the fullness of the priesthood, because we are told further here that the priests, the Aaronic priesthood, were of men that died And so their priesthood was not stable. You see, one would die, and then another one would have to, fall in line. They had a lineup of priests when you go and check the record. And as one died, another one would be put in the slot to continue officiating as priest. But Abaya required an unending, uninterrupted, and eternal priesthood. Wherefore, he said to the Mashiach, you are this priest according to the order of Melchizedek that will do away with the Aaronic priesthood. But we find, according as was delivered to us by revelation, that Levi, the one who was installed for the priesthood, the Maccabeans, whose children are today what we call the Haitians, who are the inheritors of the Levitical priesthood. The Maccabeans, Haitians, priesthood. They were the priesthood. And so, in like manner as the priests or the Aaronic priesthood were put into office at the call of Abaya, however, the Mashiach himself was by oath installed into his priesthood. You see? So it is said, I think it's in Abraham, Abram 7:7. It says, for the Torah, or that the Torah concerning priesthood, if you will, it was not a perfect Torah or law that is concerning priesthood. But the bringing in of a better hope, as it says, a better expectation through which we are drawn near to him, as it was not without an oath, that is the Aaronic priesthood. Well, in fact, the Aaronic priesthood was granted or installed in a regular, or as we would maybe say, a normal fashion, right? Regular thing. But the Mashiach, installed by Abaya himself, was installed by an oath in Hebrews, in Abram 7:21. For indeed, for they, that is the Aaronic priesthood, the Levites, became priests without an oath. But he, that is Hamashiach, became priest with an oath by him, Yahweh, who said to him, Mashiach, Yahweh has sworn and shall not repent. Ain't going back on it. You are a priest forever, according to the order of Melchizedek, who is given in a figure as one that continually lived. So the Mashiach himself, being the son of Yah, who made him a body, according to Hebrews chapter 10. Let's see if I can find the verse. Hebrews chapter 10. Ababa. Hmm. Hebrews chapter 10 and verse 5. Hebrews 10 and verse 5 says, therefore, coming into the world, he says, slaughtering and meal offering you did not desire. When he instituted it, you remember all the sacrifices and offering and meat offerings and meal offerings. It is Abba Yah who set it up. But here, Ibrahim shows us that this was not the final end of the matter concerning priesthood. You know, to offer these meal offerings and so forth, because Abba Yah had a better way. So he says, slaughtering and meal offering you did not desire, but a body you have prepared for me. This is the Mashiach addressing the matter on behalf of Abba Yah. You prepared me a body. And burnt offerings and offerings for sin. This is Hebrews chapter 10, we're reading, verse 5 and 6. And burnt offerings and offerings for sin you did not delight. You see, his delight was not in the Levitical priesthood as a permanent fixture. It was only a shadow, a representation to cause Yasha Allah to take note of what was happening in the prefigurement of the Levitical priesthood offerings, or in the conduct of their priestly ministry, what they did and how they did it is called a shadow. You see, it was a shadow, something it was pointing to how the real priesthood officiating would be transacted. And so Abba Mashiach rightly exalts Abba Yah in the matter of his priesthood. It was Abba Yah who said, you are a priest forever after the order of Melchizedek, because he was releasing Levi from the priesthood, since Levi was only a shadow. And now he was going to bring in the real deal, Hamashiach, priest forever, after an endless life. For the priests, the Levites, could not offer themselves as an eternal priesthood, because as men, they passed away one by one. You know, they had to officiate by course. They were set up by course. So when one died, another one drops into the slot of the priest and try to continue it. But the Mashiach, after the order of an endless life, became the model priesthood of the Shamayim, of Abba Yah, in the mighty Robach. You see? So, because Abba Yah was not delighted by the Aaronic priesthood, in that sense, in the sense of it being the real deal, a priesthood that would endure forever and not had to be transferred, keep on transferring from one priest to a next priest, or high priest to the next high priest, so forth. So because Abaya was not delighted by that style of priestly offertory way, manner of transacting, the method of forgiveness, cleansing and forgiveness for sin. He does away with it in figure after the Melchizedek order. And so we find then, as was being shared with the household of Yasha'al, of the 12 tribes, we find that in the second half, the bottom half of the 400 years enslavement of Yahweh, that of course, you know, the northern tribes who were scattered out to South Americas, you know, they got their share of brutality on the Esau. But the last part of it, the last treatment, or the final blow of this enslavement, was handed to the house of Yahweh. And the final authority, enforcement of the enslavement of the house of Yahweh was Levi, who was the priest installed by Abaya, Moshe. And in the second half of the enslavement, 400 years, Levi went to the ultimate depths of one who is revealed in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Went to the ultimate depth of destroying, seeking to destroy the household of Yahweh, of Judah. Therefore, the title of anti-Mashiach, anti-Messiah, is committed to Levi. And I must admonish all Yasha'Allah, our brothers from Judah in North America, the tribes up. You got to warn you and admonish you that Esau is not the anti-Messiah. Esau is an anti-Messiah, yes, but he's not the man of sin as expressed in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. Get it out of your head, get it out of your mouth. The anti-Mashiach, Messiah, is the one who made the blood covenant in the second half of the enslavement of the house of Judah. When you get that, you got clear sailing. Then you could fully recognize who the Mashiach is, because it has been the intention of Levi to obliterate the strength of the messianic esteem, to put the Messiah down, like Dan did, and like part of the Maccabees did, the Maccabeans, the forefathers of the Haitians, of the Levites. These all conspired against the Father's well-beloved, Hamashiach, as their father that they chose to cling to, Satan, the one who they call God in the scriptures, in our scriptures. Gadriel, the fallen Levites, committed themselves to him in the revolution for Haiti's independence, whereby they took the last 200 years of the enslavement of the house of Judah and sought with all their might, with all their priestly knowledge of chemistry and medicine and laws of health and healing. They went to town, as we might say. They took a delight in destroying the house of Judah, the house of Yehoiada. That's what our brothers, our former brothers, the Levites, who have become apostate against Yahushua, the Malach, the Father's well-beloved, spoke to Yasha'Allah about in the wilderness when he told them, look, I'm sending my Malachim before your face. Be careful that you, I'm paraphrasing, you be careful that you don't trouble him, you don't get him angry. Because if you do that, be warned, be forewarned that he's not gonna pardon you. He gonna mess you up. All right? Be careful of my Malachim, that I didn't send him before you. The Malachim of my presence, that's what he said, the Most High. Be careful of him and obey him. Talking about the Mashiach before he came in the flesh, after the Father prepared him a body that came by the virgin birth. And so we are told again in Abram, that in Abram 10 in verse 4, that it was impossible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away sin, as it was impossible for the offertory installment of the Levites to give a perfect representation to the matter of obliterating the sin. They had to give a sacrificial offering as a representation for the power, the ability that is only in the Father's own offering for sin, the Mashiach, who lives after the power of an endless life, uninterrupted life, to officiate in the priesthood unto the Most High. And so Esau's reign as the priest came to an end. And for that, the envy of Levi knew no bounds. So he conspired in the revolution for Haiti's independence to leave his priesthood privilege and he conspired to derail the order of the priesthood and to hide himself, like Esau, hide himself in the midst of the tribe and begin to decimate the tribes with all his of community and so forth. bringing in the witchcraft and the voodoo and the height of evil. All the witchcraft, the highest witchcraft in the earth is with the Levites. Any one of the people out there will tell you that, who has dealt with, the different forms of voodoo. They say the Haitian voodoo, strongest. That's how they were the priests of the scriptures. Had that knowledge. They were messing up the house of Yahweh. And 2 Thessalonians 2 finds them. Although Esau tried to misrepresent the facts of the matter, we know through the Ruach that Levi took over the second part, the second 200 years of the enslavement of the house of Yahweh, and has been intent on derailing the priestly ministry of the Mashiach and to hide the face of the Mashiach from the household of Yahweh. Keep himself in the middle of the tribes as a genuine article of the priesthood and mess up the priesthood with all his might under Gadriel, under Satan. We have now to let it go, Yasha'Allah. Stop calling Esau the anti-Messiah. It's your brother, Levi. That's who he is. The scriptures got him pegged right on a button. That's who's been destroying Yahweh for the last 200 years of the enslavement, and still has been intent on carrying forward that same manner of voodoo, and whatever, all the do's, even satanic measures against the house of Yahweh, your own brother Levi. Get it in your head and leave off. If you get it right, you'll be able to stay right, and you'll be able to welcome the Mashiach into his esteemed, privileged position given to him by Abba to be the priest over the household of Abba forever. And you see, so now what happened in the atonement exercises that recently passed? You might pretend not to have noticed it, but I know you noticed it. I know you saw it. You saw the lack of attention to the requirement of the 2300-day prophecy. Unto 2300 days, and then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. The final great atonement for the world. And Yasha'Allah, you almost let it slip away in dishonor unto the Mashiach, whom Abba Yah has set up as priest forever. That is uninterrupted, unending, even forever. That's who the Mashiach is. And we should have been in place, Yasha'Allah, as a nation. We should have been in place to do like the psalmist and you do the honors as our forefather David, when he saw the Mashiach coming back after offering his sacrifice and securing the salvation of the nation. You know, he made an exclamation. Who's this? You know, when he saw the Mashiach coming back, I think it's in Psalm 24, where he saw the Mashiach, whichever Psalm it is at. not 100% on it right at the moment, but he saw the Mashiach coming back from the battle. And he exclaimed, what he says, lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be ye lift up, ye everlasting doors. Esteem shall come in. He saw him coming back from the victory over sin, death, and the grave. And now we came to the 2300-day prophetic account of the Mashiach taking on the entire scope, dimensions of the reign of sin over us under Gabriel, and I dare say, under the fallen Levitical priesthood. We came to the point where the priesthood had to be turned over, according to Abraham or Hebrews, in the 2300-day prophecy, in the cleansing of the sanctuary. All the sins had to be gathered up and transferred to the Mashiach, who rests them on Satan, Gabriel. And at the same time, I'm trying to find what I think might be the proper word, but he had to, let me use this word that might be more direct for you. He had to chop off the Levitical priesthood from the position of priest to install the Messiah who reigns, who officiates after the order of Melchizedek as a priest forever, a never-ending and never-dying priest or priesthood. So we have found then, when you go back and you examine it, Yasha'Allah did not give a perfect representation to the Mashiach in the 2300-day prophecy arrangement, as it was in the Shamayim. There was no forgetfulness of the matter in the Shamayim, and there ought not to have been a falling down in Yasha'Allah concerning the 2300-day prophecy, because that atonement that thereafter would see the installment of the Mashiach in his place as priest, high priest forever. And so, the grace of the Most High was on our side. I had provision to deal with the matter, Yasha. You neglect it, but the Most High did not neglect it. And the Mashiach was on time to transition in the Shamayim, to transition in the priestly authority of his official work of atonement, whereby he would have confessed the sins of Yasha'Allah and all our dearly departed over Gabriel, the Baphomet, the one who conducts the highest form of Freemasonry by the seal of Solomon. Mashiach came on time to deal with that. That seal of Solomon business with the Baphomet and the pentagram. Mashiach came to put that down and rescue Yasha'Allah. if you will be rescued. You got to give way to the offertory work of Hamashiach in the 2300-day prophecy. At the conclusion of the transaction with the sins of Yasha'Allah, 400 years of slavery and brutality, I got you. But you were not mindful of it, Yasha'Allah. It's my privilege to call you brethren, as the Mashiach called us his brethren, and let you know the neglect that you perpetrated on the Mashiach, trying to assist Levi, to hide Levi in his intent to damage the priesthood and conceal himself to be still in the offertory position of priest unto Yasha'Allah. No, the Mashiach has done away with you. You ain't no good anyhow. The Father's got himself a new high priest after the order of Melchizedek. Hamashiach, he has come into his place. In the Shamayim, he has dealt with the sins and confessed them upon the head of the scapegoat, the one in the pentagram, Satan, the one who wants to lead you to homosexuality, lesbianism, the one who proclaims or has his prophets proclaim for him that he's a hermaphrodite, a sexless being. And so he has, this is what they were trying to get done in the enslavement process. They were trying to wipe out male and female connections. That's what they were trying to accomplish. Yeah. Trying to get you to obliterate the image of the Most High in Yasha'Allah. But he saved us. He yet granted us grace. Oh, he put some beating on us. Oh, yes. Abba Yah put some beating on us. He gave him honor, he gave him grace through the eternal Ruach and our priests. We exalt our priests. Yasha'Allah, come to it. Recognize where you are. Levi, as a priest, gone away with. Now, the next move for Levi that has been on stream is the full installment into the anti-messiahship. That's what's going on, Yasha'Allah. That's what you need to be trumpeting. That's where you need to get yourself in order and to get protected from under the authority of the world order. Under the pentagram of the pentagram, yes. We need to get ourselves in order now, Yasha'Allah. The Most High has allowed me to share with you what the deal is from the evil one. Get rid of your manhood and your womanhood and have everything inside out and upside down and twisted and every which way but loosey. To hold us in bondage under Satan. What our forefathers did. Turn to the east, turn themselves to the east and open their doors and their windows and worship the sun and worship the hosts of heaven as we are shown in the scriptures, book of 2 Kings and in the Chronicles. This is what our forefathers did and brought us under this bondage. It's our time now. recognize came to the thousand, well, you know, the 2300-day prophecy. It was about you being set free from the bondage of the authority of the goat of Mendes, and to be adorned as a bride, to receive the bridegroom, Mashiach. We're going to continue then, as Abba allows us, to go into the book of Hebrews or Hebrews and continue to develop and show you the priesthood of the Mashiach that you were neglecting, that the evil one, that the fallen Levites were working feverishly night and day and every second in between to get you to forget about the priestly ministry of your Mashiach and to allow them to lead you down into the anti-messiahship prospect that they have in their view and in their intent to visit upon the whole world. May the Most High bless you, Yasha Allah. Until next time, when we develop it a little bit more, and you get to see your Mashiach in all his esteem, in the height of his power, officiating as king, priest over the household of Abba Yah, in the power of the eternal Ruach, to whom we praise forever. So let it be.